Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Xena Warrior Princess Season 3, Episode 13, One Against an Army. This is probably my all-time favorite Xena episode. It is jam-packed, full of action, and I am an action junkie. Man, I still remember this back in the day when I watched this as a teenager and stuff. I was just like in so much shock and awe from like all the action that took place. I remember like I recorded on VHS back in the day and everything. And I remember that scene where the Persian army started like riding on their horses. Something special happened in the commercials. They were starting to sell Xena merch. In fact, I believe they were starting to sell her on VHS because this was a little bit before they had put it on DVD. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I want this so much. I want this so bad. And so I asked my mom to go get it and everything, but the price was too high. So I told her, don't even bother with that. But I just remember being like, oh, VHS. And you gotta remember, there was a lot of episodes back then, 20 per season. So that was a lot of VHS tapes and stuff. Thank God for DVD. And so, like, this episode is very important for a lot of different reasons. First reason is because of the episodes that came prior. The episodes that came prior saw the death of both Gabrielle and Xena's kid that caused them to go on separate paths to a path of vengeance for Xena. Xena literally tried to murder Gabrielle. That took them to the land of Illusia, or Alasia, or something like that, where they sung, and I don't think they danced, but other people danced, but they sung. That was one of the coolest musical episodes and most creative ones I've ever seen. In fact, I think it might be the most creative musical episode since that Buffy episode, because it wasn't just all of a sudden somebody comes from a different world and they start making people sing. No, they went to another world and everything. And it was just insane. And so, like, they don't make good musical episodes like that no more when it comes to random action or drama TV series and stuff. And so, of course, prior to the kids dying, it was that huge crossover between Hercules and Xena, and Callisto was there, and Hope, and all that other stuff. And Aeolus had to save the day, and time travel shenanigans and stuff. And of course, and then of course the stuff that happened in Chin, and so this was like right after that. And so for them to go back to their, I love you again, that was just kind of weird. Like there was no, okay, I like you and everything, but give me a little distance and stuff. I would have probably preferred that. But no, they went right back to being best friends and everything. So that was always kind of strange and stuff. Also, this episode is important because like it really shows how much Xena loves Gabrielle. And there's been lots of episodes where they have expressed how much they love each other, but this was when you really saw it to the point where Xena was gonna willingly let Greece fall to the Persians. Because Xena's been on this whole path for 3 years of being a good girl and everything. And so she almost gave up until she met Gabrielle. And so the fact that she was willing to let like millions die and be enslaved just for one person really tells you something. It lets you know she isn't all for this whole redeeming good girl arc and everything, because if somebody she loves is in danger, she'll put her loved one first before that of the entire world, or at least her country and stuff. And so, and it really lets you know just how much in love with Gabrielle she is. And so also this episode is special because this was around the time Xena stopped doing her famous yell thingy. She has two main yell thingies that she did for the first 2 seasons. The see ya and the ah type thing. When I was younger, I used to do that perfectly, but now my voice has changed and I can't do it no more. I just can't suck in enough air to like do that yell thingy. But then she kept the CR one, and then she dropped the IIR one, and then she started developing more of a grunt scream type like yell type thingy and stuff like most of the other characters, which I hate, by the way. I miss her IIR thing. Or Harris used to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like I really used to love that. Was unique and interesting, man. Like when you hear that, like you don't hear that from another show. And it was like this was really the first unique thing I ever heard. That type of yell thingy. She used to do that yell cry. And so with this episode, oh man, I still like remember this till the day. This was a really good season, season 3. All the seasons were pretty good. The last one's a little iffy in times. The last one, you can tell they were starting to run out of ideas and realizing, oh, we ain't getting picked up for another season. Let's just end it the way we are. And it was just a little too silly at times, which I know probably made Lucy happy because it turns out Lucy hated doing the action on the show. She dreaded it. Much like Ted Raimi, who played Joxer, he hated doing the comedy on Xena. He hated that character and stuff. But then he's learned to love it as time went on. Maybe because his most famous role of period. You know what I'm saying? And people don't, I mean, he's been in other stuff, but people don't know him in other stuff. They just know him as Joxer. And so, like, in this season, Gabrielle's wearing one of my favorite outfits. It's the green tank top with the brown skirt and the brown boots. And she still had her staff. Oh man, I missed the staff. And so basically in this episode, Gabrielle wants to try to do like a flip similar to Xena. And so she's been practicing. Xena just does not want her to do it because Gabrielle is still in the learning basis of doing stuff. Gabrielle is one of those type of characters that it took a long time for her to learn like a lot of stuff like Xena. But then when Lucy got pregnant, they had to step up Gabrielle's game. And I still miss her long hair. This is when she had long hair. And you know, there was always something, this cutesy wootsy quality about Gabrielle and everything. It's like even when she's being annoying, she's still that little cutesy wootsy kind of person. And I love that quality about her, you know. And so she does the flip. She starts off on the wrong foot and she hurts her ankle. And so she's out for the whole episode because of the ankle. Oh my bad, I'm like exhausted. And I think even in the next couple of episodes, her ankle is still hurting. I like how they did that. I remember it was some character, I think it was Eolus, and his arm was tweaked and everything. They had to put him in a sling, and I don't know if the stars really were hurt, and that's why they did it, or just for the character. But that's a nice character progression, you know? And so, like, as they're like, you know, heading off, you know, Xena's like rubbing it in, like, you know, like I tried to tell you something, you thought you was all that great, and then you failed and everything. And it's just weird because they just came back from trying to murder each other. But then they meet this dude, and this dude is tired. He's like Paul Revere. He's telling them that he saw an army come on boats. It's the Persian army. Xena is very worried. She said if they take Athens, then they're going to take all of Greece. So she tells him to, like, you know, warn, who did she tell him to warn? Is it the Thessaly militia? No, Tripolis militia, I think. And so, yeah, she had him warn, like, I can't pronounce these words no more. The Tripoli, I'm gonna say Tripoli militia and everything. And so like Xena is very worried because she knows this army is ruthless and everything. And so she's gonna make a landslide at I forgot. Terpalia or something like that. I can't remember. I can't remember these Greek names. All right, it's been a while since I took an art history class and learned all this stuff. And then so they're gonna cause a rock slide, so it kind of slow the army down. But they don't have time to do it. So basically, they run into a dude, Dorian. He's like a deserter and everything, talking about how he was in the Spartan army, and then like he got hurt and all this other stuff. But basically, he's lying. He's a deserter. He choked up and got scared. So Xena and everything, which he has a beautiful sword. I love his sword. I love the designs they used to have for these weapons back in the day on the show. Like they really went out there with giving unique weapons to people. One thing I never understood about Xena's sheath, her little sword case thing, it's way too big for her sword. Her sword is skinny. The case she puts it in is giant size. So, here comes the scouting army. So Xena, boy, she's going to town and she's just whooping on them and everything. Gabrielle on the horse can see that Dorian has froze up. He's acting weird, a little too weird in his frozenness. So she tells him to take refuge and everything. So as they're about to hide out, she gets shot in the back with an arrow. It turns out to be a poison arrow, but it didn't hit none of her organs, so she didn't think. So Xena has to get it out. Now, one thing I've learned that something on this show taught me is when you shot with an arrow, you push it on through. You never pull it out the way it went in. And this is actually fact. When it has like the arrowhead, they want you to push it on through because in case, you try to pull it out and it hit like an organ or hit like a nerve or something like that. A weird tactic, but hey, whatever, But then what if pushing it out, you hit an organ then, like, you know what I'm saying? Now, with the newer arrow with no arrowhead, I don't know if that same thing applies and everything. So what they would do with the olden days, they'll break off the feather part and push it on through. Then they'll cauterize it and everything, and then they'll start putting herbs and all kind of crap like that on it, which now is a little bit different, but And so like Xena tells the Dorian dude, head to like this place and tell them that, there's a rock slide and this and that, and the Persians are coming, this and that. Xena does not trust him because she thinks he is a Persian and everything and not a Spartan. Because she said basically Spartans grip on like a wooden stake, the harden, the harden in their hand, and also there are no marks on his sword. And so also the place he says he's from, Xena tricked him with some trivia, and it doesn't have no giant waterfall geyser type thing. And so she realizes that with him being a Persian, he can actually help her and everything. Now they don't have to do the rock slide because he's gonna tell them that, and they're gonna assume it, and so they're gonna lead the army into this bunker type place that Xena has in Tripolis and everything. Basically 3 years ago, before she met Gabrielle and after she left Hercules, she thought, hey, what if I have another army? So she hid a bunch of weapons. So her and Gabrielle, they go there. Gabrielle's condition is actually getting worse. And so now you have to ask yourself that $1 million question. Do you let the entire country die or do you help your friend? Xena is trying to let her know that, like, look, we can get to Thessaly and everything and get you some medicine. Why? Because the area they're in, everything is ransacked. Basically, the militia didn't want the Persians to get to it, so they burnt everything down and they broke all the medicine. So Gabrielle is literally screwed, and the poison is going through her blood system much faster because it punctured her lung and everything. She's coughing up blood, and she's starting to get a little zombified looking with the grayish skin. And still, she's so cutesy wootsy that even though she looks half past dead, you can't really tell. So those two have a huge debate over and over. Gabrielle wants her to stay and fight because she promised those people, but Xena is contemplating leaving and getting Gabrielle the much needed help that she needs. And so this really causes a huge conflict between the two, to the point where Gabrielle, laying down half dead, puts her foot down and basically tells her no. Like, you went on this course of good and you wanted to help people. You can't let hundreds and thousands of people die just like for one person. But Xena don't see it that way. Now, in the episode, Gabrielle brings up the whole stuff with Chen and that power Xena had. And Xena literally says she can't bring it on no more. It takes a huge thing of concentration and she just can't do it. She tries at one point and get frustrated. And so the people of Chen, yeah, they actually do exist. I did not know that until I looked it up. But it's weird because in this episode, Gabrielle keeps calling them China in there, or keep calling the land China instead of the land of Chen. And I don't know why it was written like that. And so, like, but when we do see this power again, I think it's in season 5, I think, and it's in completely different CGI and stuff. And so Xena's trying to prepare, the bunker and everything, still while contemplating and everything. And so Gabrielle is starting to get in and out of it. She's basically reciting what she said when she first met Xena about how she needs to, like, see the world and travel with Xena and all this other stuff. And she literally tells that she has the power of premonition or something like that. I don't remember her saying that in the pilot, but it's interesting because in this episode, Gabrielle has a nightmare, and scene by scene, Xena is fighting the army, and she tells Xena, be careful of this guy with a sword. He's gonna come up behind you and kill you. And ironically, this scene plays out scene by scene when the actual army does show up. So that's kind of interesting, but it never happens again. And so Xena, she lets Argo like free, and like she don't want the horse to get like hurt or nothing like that. Ironically, you can see the branding number on Argo's shoulder and stuff. Poor animal. The animal's probably dead now, but still, poor animal and stuff. Oh man, I just thought about that. Argo's probably dead now. Oh man. I love that horse and stuff. It was so golden. So anyway, she puts Gabrielle like on the top of, like, climbing up. Well, yeah, she does climb up the ladder. I thought she did a flip, but no, she climbs up the ladder and she puts Gabrielle on the second floor, and Gabrielle's all out of it. She wants Gabrielle to knock over like this thing of oil and everything to burn them, and so Xena's just waiting for them to come. And here they come, and it's one of the glorious, most beautiful action scenes I've ever seen. They really changed things up, trying to do something different, trying to do something new. It was something to behold. And lo and behold, look who's coming with a dagger. It's the dude, Dorian. And he's looking to kill Gabrielle until Xena shows up and whoops his behind, catches an arrow and realizes it has poison on it, and stabs him with it. He's getting a taste of his own medicine. Speaking of which, Xena did a very smart thing. She let him live so he can run and find some medicine so she can give it to Gabrielle. So Xena's still whooping on some soldiers and everything, and everybody's nearly dead. And it's like a good dozen left. And she literally tells them, tricking them, like, look, man, there's 1,000 more like me, so y'all need to leave. And they do. And so she flips on the second floor, which I miss the flipping so much. And just action-packed type stuff. God, I missed that. There's still a couple of Persians left. She whoops on them. And then she gives Gabrielle the medicine. And she gives it to her with her fingers in her mouth, which is something I saw on The Last of Us. I wonder, does that really work when a person's thirsty? You can just use your fingers and put liquid on it. I wonder. And so they're talking, they're sleepy, they're tired, and it ends so beautifully. Like, Gabrielle's all like, you still owe me a pair of like boots and everything. Because Xena messed her boots up in the beginning of the episode when she hurt herself, and her ankle started to swell up. And this episode, it was just simple. It was nice. It was action packed, which is what Xena is. That's why I missed the 90s, man. Xena is such an action packed show. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.